Under crooked Joe Biden, there has been a catastrophic increase in shortages of essential medicines. Last year, new drug shortages were
I don't think that's true, but keep going.
by 30%, with 295 active drug shortages just by the end of 2022 alone. It's a mess. There's
I'm pretty confident this is not true or being mischaracterized. I'm pretty confident. Like most, like 98% of the things Trump says is just not true. So,
currently a shortage of
but
at
I'm pretty
least
confident it's
14
not true.
critical cancer drugs in the United States. They just can't get it. And every month of delay, cancer treatment increases the risk of death by at least 10%.
Cancer. Wait, what?
Just by the end of 2022 alone, it's a mess. There's currently a shortage of at least 14 critical cancer drugs in the United States. They just can't get it. And every month of delay, cancer treatment increases the risk of death by at least 10%.
So they can't get enough cancer drugs, but also cancer treatment increases the risk of death by 10%. That doesn't even make sense. What? I swear, Donald Trump just be throwing things out there, and one of them is gonna stick. I swear to God.
It's unthinkable that this could be happening in the United States of America in 2023. It is truly unbelievable. We are becoming a third world country.
Exaggeration. Oh, real quick. Let me follow him because he says some stupid stuff that I want to respond to. Alex Jones, that little bot, apparently got Infowars bot from him, and apparently I think a company, the family of Sandy Hook, and this other company, I think it's called Onion something, bought Infowars from Alex Jones. Yeah, you bought, you deserve it. You suck. That is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen.
Very rapidly between our open borders and our bad elections. We are third world. But even more dangerously, the top producer of critical medicines that we rely on in the United States is a place called China. China produces 95% of all ibuprofen, 91% of hydrocortisone, 70% of all Tylenol, and nearly half of all penicillin. Can you imagine that?
I can't. Let me look it up. I'm actually curious. Uh, China, how much drugs does China produce in the US? The US is relying on more on China for pharmaceuticals. This is from atlanticcouncil.org. Uh, China, the US fifth largest imports active pharmaceuticals. So which ones did he say? Let me see if I can find some statistics for this because I'm curious actually.
Is a place called China. China produces 95% of all ibuprofen, 91% of hydrocortisone, 70% of all Tylenol, and nearly half of all penicillin. Can you imagine that? This is not just a public health crisis, it's a national security crisis. As part of my plan to obtain total independence from China, we will phase in tariffs and import restrictions to bring back production of all essential medicines to the United States of America where they belong. I signed an executive order to begin this process in 2020, but Biden has shamefully failed to follow through. He wants it ended. He wants to take care
Actually,
of
this
China.
might
This is a matter of
wait.
tremendous.
Okay. I found the statistic according to the U.S. Department of Commerce. Apparently, this might be true, but I'm always skeptical when it comes to MAGA because they just be lying. I mean, considering that you kind of pronounce China as the enemy of America, anything that China has their hands on, you could just say this is just enemy doing enemy stuff. There's probably more context to this, but you know what's interesting? Hear me out. You know what's interesting is that I've heard someone in the comment section say that, yeah, allying yourself with Russia. After I kind of made that clip or video talking about how Putin wants to ally himself with Trump, and Trump wants to ally himself with North Korea, all that stuff, right? And someone said in the comment section, well, this is a good idea. This is a good idea that we ally ourselves with Trump, with Putin, and with North Korea. You know what's kind of interesting is that I don't know if they'll keep the same energy about China, right? Why shouldn't we trade with China instead of like not allies, but just trade with China? I'm guessing MAGA, because they have no integrity, is that they would say that no to China, we should not deal with anything with China, but it's okay to ally ourselves with Russia. How that makes sense to me? It doesn't. I do think there is a level of communal or respectable relationship that can be had, but having a relationship with Russia when they're invading Ukraine right now just doesn't make sense. But how do I feel about China importing 95% of ibuprofen? It seems like that is true from what I looked up. I don't have a strong opinion on that, because I don't think just because it's made in China doesn't necessarily mean it's the worst thing in the world. Unless people think that China's poisoning ibuprofen and killing Americans with it. And I mean, if you believe that, then I can't help you at all. I mean, I can't put a new hat on you with that tinfoil one on. But should America make more of their drugs domestically? Depends on how accessible the materials are and depends on the type of labor. Very interesting, though. Interesting point.
Urgency. American lives are on the line, and it will be one of my top priorities as president. It will also create countless new American jobs.
Go buy Trump's shirt. Yeah, I'm not listening to that bot, Alex Jones. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Do I have any big criticism with that? With that sentiment? I mean, it's obviously dramatizing it and saying it's the end of the world because China's making it. I think it's a very simplistic approach, but it's an easy way for people to understand. Make China the enemy. Anything associated with China is the enemy. Hey man, I like Wish.com. I don't know about you. Plus, a lot of things are made in China. I think just normal products made in China, there's nothing wrong with it. When it comes to technology made in China, though, I think, or like China social media apps, then we gotta really have some important conversations because that threatens the national security. But okay,